Alright, I'm gonna go through make a video on what I see happening in the market. Try to make it a quick video. Not necessarily quick, I'm gonna try to go through each token up here pretty quickly. For what I see happening with Bitcoin, I thought we were gonna see a breakout and then a pullback into this predetermined line. If you were watching any of my master plan videos, bump and run reversal pattern videos, you would have known how and why I was able to come up with this line that a lot of people didn't realize was there. I made this line down here at 16K based off of the bump and run reversal pattern technicals. Okay, it's not just a phantom line, it's the line that's meant to be there based on the #1 reversal pattern in all of trading. Stocks, Forex, crypto, you name it. All right, you gotta watch the old videos. Okay, so Bitcoin, we're still in that ascending triangle. So if we zoom back in, I had it breaking out to 34, 35, or well, 32K. Why is it doing this? Possibly even all the way up to 38K. Or sorry, from 34K to the top of this triangle for the second touch. We're gonna have to start moving this over, but it looks like we're going to get something like this. Oops, no, what the hell? I don't want to cut it. Undo, copy, copy, paste, not cut, paste. Okay, we're gonna have to start numbering this one too. Let's color it red, copy, paste. Number 2 right there, because we're gonna have to get a bearish count as well, just to satisfy some of you non-believers. This isn't for me, this is for just technical reasons. Okay, let's get rid of that for now. We don't need to know what's happening there, even though it will be helpful in the future having Fibonacci. Copy paste. Third one. Now I'm anticipating a third touch. No, that's not what I wanted. Bring that back. No, we don't need that right now. Anticipating a third touch happening eventually, if it happens anytime soon, in a fast breakdown, something like this. After we had some accumulation breakdowns, pop back up. Accumulation breakdowns, if we have something quick like that, because technically we have a zigzag pattern, a flat pattern, and then now we're expecting a zigzag. So we could expect a fast move down, bouncing off one of these trend lines somewhere at 27, 28, high 27s, somewhere 28K, or this pattern is just a lot lower. Okay, we end up having something like this, boom, boom. Get a lot of late longs, a lot of people thinking we're going to 38K, come back, and then we run down this line again before we have a third touch somewhere over here, or we have something like a deviation, which is something I expect, being able to touch these support levels here, somewhere what, 28.5. Low 27s at the lowest, so I won't say lowest. You can come all the way down here. We got to fill, sometimes we have to fill this gap, and the way it's been happening with Bitcoin is we're coming back to these levels. Well, here is fast and here is slow. You keep a lot of people in, like I said last video, keep a lot of people in, and then they get to here and they're like, oh, we're gonna just crash. They start believing the FUD, and then we bounce hard from there. As I talked about in my last video, it was anticipated to happen. Okay, so we could get a quick drawdown, or I'm anticipating a break up, and then a pullback, and then accumulation at this level, and then a bounce back up into the second touch or third touch. But ultimately, we're going to drag along this line. Eventually, as I always say, Bitcoin has 4 touches before it breaks through. We'll have a third touch deviation, and then we'll probably come back down here, somewhere here, at 30K, and then we'll break out for the 4th time. So that's what I'm seeing with Bitcoin. We're on the 1-day chart. It looks like if we zoom in, let's go to 6 hour. Looks like we could have a little move back up. According to the RSI and the market cipher, we could have a move back up on the low time frames, and that'll influence the higher time frame on the weekend where we have lower short volume. A lot of institutions don't trade during that time. We can bounce either off this 29.3, or we bounce lower somewhere. Well, let's just stick with that. Low time frames looks like it's going to influence the high time frames on the weekend. Low volume bounce, and then we can come back during Monday. Either we get a breakout somewhere between here, as I stated before, between 32K and 30K, or we come down first. All right, for our third touch. It'd be nice to get that third touch out the way. Well, it would seem like we'd get a second touch out of the way first before we get a third touch on Bitcoin for one last drag down. All right, so that's Bitcoin. DXY. bounced all the way back up to this quasi trend line after it broke below. It's called a deviation. This is on the 12-hour. We zoom in a little bit more on the 1 day, and you see the same type of deviation, and it kind of reminds me of what happened with Link on the RSI. If we go to the 1 day, and that's how I knew to get in. I have to zoom. We could zoom in a little more. Somewhat of a deviation on well, yes, absolutely a deviation on the market cipher, and then we pop right back up after a lot of lower action and a price deviation under this level here. Okay, under that level there, we had a deviation there, and that's when I started adding longs and playing that game, and now we hit 850 as anticipated, as mentioned in my group. Hit 850. Now we're going to accumulate again. We zoom in. We'll just stick with Link right now. We're going to accumulate again. We could create, let's see. So we retested this level, this trend line level here, had a small deviation, bounced up, accumulated, bounced up again, and we could have something very similar to this action here. All right, where we get this little drop down, small drop down accumulation, and then we keep going up. We could have something very similar happening here, and then always keep in mind that we could always have a gap to fill. All right, so in my mind, I'm waiting for $7.40 to come and to add to my long, my forever long. All right, so Link again, we're anticipating going to the top of the range first. We're not looking at, let's simplify this real quick. We're not looking at anything above 950 until we get to 950. All right, that's how we play this. We're playing ranges a little bit at a time. Wyckoff accumulation, guys. This is basically a Wyckoff accumulation. You zoom in, it looks a little bit cleaner. And there's your spring down here. Your spring is what we call the deviation, and we should be stair-stepping up to the 950 level, somewhere around here. Stair-step action, reaccumulate, stair-step past it. There's really no resistance all the way up into $13. So $13 is another one of my targets, and look at that, $13 happens to be the famous 61.8% Fibonacci level that traders who trade Fibonacci love to look for. Very bullish signal. We tap that, we reaccumulate, and then we go back up. But again, if you're paying attention to Link over the past few months, or you're on my group or on the Discord group where you've been watching all the Link info I've been pouring into the group for the past 2 months, 3 months, then you know these $13, $9 predictions I'm not really worried about those. What I'm looking at is for a repeat of this section here and a repeat of all this, and it won't matter what the market is doing. Chainlink is going to do its own thing, especially after the CCIP has been activated as of yesterday. So now Chainlink, they were offering their services for nearly for free. Now you have to pay for their services, and those services are absolutely necessary to get actual, real, truthful data in crypto, because you know we have a lot of scammers. Okay, so I'm really not worried about these lower level price levels. Okay, on top of that, what's happening in the market right now? Move this real quick. Let's remove the volume as well temporarily. So I want you to see this. See the yellow, the red, the blue. The blue is the 21-day, red is the 50-day, yellow is the 100-day, and now on the 1 week chart, Link has a 200-day moving average. So we're going to see it looks like we're going to see, and this is on the weekly, we're going to see some resistance at $10. You can guarantee that. So for this fourth touch, 1, 2, 3, fourth touch of 950, we're going to see a slight breakthrough, and then maybe a small pullback. But I wouldn't even worry about selling anything until $9.50 to $9.90 or so. All right, so I'm heavy long on Link under that pretense, under those expectations. All right, so back to my point is we have the moving averages moving up into what's called the famous golden cross. All right, so the whole market looks like it's making this move. Look at Uni as well. As you see what's happening here on the daily, we had the 50-day crossing the 100-day, the red crossing the yellow, and now up next we're going to have the 50-day eventually crossing the 200-day, and that is the prototypical golden cross. And you can see it on lower levels it's already happened. All right, and you're going to start to get that sort of action happening, and especially on the 1 week chart. If we pull up, I would have to bring in the 21 day. The 21 days probably crossed the 50 day already, and that's where we're going to start to see the explosion of all the price action of all these tokens. And so I am in Uni right now because I expect DeFi. I'm calling it DeFi 2.5. It's a lot of new protocols coming into DeFi again. A lot of money is going to come back in. Nothing major yet. Haven't adopted it yet. They will in a year or two, but I call it DeFi summer 2.5. But this summer is going to be hot for DeFi. It already is. If you see all this accumulation happening, everything on the 1 week being squeezed under the 50-day moving average, RSI is already broken out of that little range. If you look at the little level here, it's already broken out. So relative strength, we're going to have, if it follows relative strength, we're going to have a breakout from this zone very soon for Uni. So I'm pretty heavy in Uni right now. If you want to play just moving averages and RSI, then you can expect to move up to $9.60, $9.80 or so. Or you can take it to this very next high elbow, I call it elbow resistance, somewhere right there. Probably, I mean, we're looking at $15. If we're moving on the weekly chart, then you can expect big moves to come. On the market cipher, the green dot has been fulfilled. So now we're looking for a similar line like this. So we're going to either go back to the break even at 0, or we're going to continue up and make a move up. And what I always see happen here is we had lower lows. We had lower lows on this price action. So we're going to reverse all that going up. So we should see a very massive move happening on Uniswap. Okay, I'm not going to talk about what's happening on Uniswap. There's a lot of action happening in DeFi. All right. I'll get to Pepe in a bit. Mask is Twitter's silent partner. Anticipated that Twitter is going to end up using encrypted private messaging, and that's what Mask is for. That's why it always pumps when Twitter stock pumps or Dogecoin pumps, because they're synonymous. They're known to work together. Okay, so I was talking about this accumulation for the past week in my group. In the Discord group, the link's below. Measure out this move here from this ascending wedge, and then match it to the top where this should be now turned into support. Even if we pull back, we should see support around $3.85, and then a continuation up. It looks like we got moved back up to $4.14, but market cipher on the 4 hours looking like we're going to see one more continuation wave, another little higher high after a small pullback. You see here, we'll have a small little pullback. Why is it doing that? All right. Anyways, if we look on the 1 day, we have a continuation wave up also while the RSI is moving up as well. And as you see here, I already had, while I was looking at Mask in the first place, because we had higher lows on this price action. So we're going to see something very similar happening here. Big wave into an even bigger wave, pullback, big wave, pullback, big wave, pullback. It usually works in threes. All right, because whatever you do to move down, you typically use that same pattern to move up. And some people might call this just a falling column. It's hard to draw on this, which is why I really didn't draw it. Some people call this a falling wedge of some sort. So you're going to have a falling wedge happening pretty much the same way. And that's a rule that a lot of people, it's not necessarily a rule, it's a thing to look out for. It's typically what ends up happening to reverse all of the damage. And again, we're always looking for the 618 level, and so we're looking at somewhere around $5.40 for that move. And I've labeled out the price. I use price labels for where we're possibly going to go. So I'm going to stay in Mask for a while. Bigger picture Mask, you can see that a rising column is forming on the weekly, which is major. So let me get this out the way. So you see the bounce here. I was talking about Mask last week, made a small quick little video on it earlier this week. I saw this green candle here. Now we had a impulse reversal candle this week. And so honestly, if you look at it from this perspective, we should expect to move up to $4.60 to meet the top of this little local resistance here, somewhere between $4.34 and $4.60 before we reaccumulate on the way down. But again, we're looking at the end of this week, we should see a little green dot coming in right there. 3 day should already be a green dot. Not quite yet. Okay, but we do have some moving up on the 2-day and the 3-day charts as well. Ultimately, this chart will ultimately repeat these patterns: higher high, lower low, into another breakout, retest, breakout again, and we should have something very similar happening there. It's going to take several weeks if we measure it out, how long that could possibly take to complete. 126 days the last time it happened, and let's measure from, let's see what 126 days. Okay, so we should expect a breakout this week then. Okay, and again, $4, somewhere between $4.30, $5. When I'm seeing 618's at $5.40 even, we could see a move up to that. All right, so good opportunity for money to be made on Uniswap, and again, the DeFi protocols. Sorry, this is mask. So we should see something happening with Dogecoin as well, and possibly even meme coins. So let's jump into meme coins. We'll get to waves and XRP, and Sushi's pretty much the same thing. Won't talk much about Sushi. Doesn't have a lot of volume in it nowadays. It got some volume in it the past few weeks, but we have a rising wedge forming here. Breakout. You know, we're in the process of a retest. If we zoom in, those bars are green already. We have the RSIs moving up, and market cipher looking promising. Well, looking for a complete the small little dip on the 1-day chart. We could see some action in the next 3 to 7 days. For Sushi, again, Sushi's a slow mover. It could come all the way back down to this trend line and even get a deviation down to 60 cents. Expect that to happen, or we get a breakout, fill this gap back up to 80 cents, and then we're looking at 86 cents, $1.04, $1.20, $1.30 if DeFi summer continues to roll on. Okay, and I think DeFi summer is going to continue to roll on until the Bitcoin ETF news happens in, let me check my calendar. It is in my calendar. Let's see, where is it? And Bitcoin ETF approval, August 13th. So I think the entire market's going to stair step its way up until somewhere around August 13th. You're going to have a lot of people jumping out just in case, you know, the approval doesn't happen. And there's a theory that that approval won't happen until the Bitcoin halving next year, which would then make the market entirely explode. Or we get good news that the market moves up. We move up for a month or so into September, then we slow down the rest of the year. We accumulate, and then we start moving up into the halving again, and then we have a halving breakdown, and that's all already marked out in these charts. That's what I already have written out. Come on, that's what these pink patterns are for. Okay, so that's Sushi. Pepe, it's accumulating in a kind of sideways column action. You want to expect, so it looks like it's bouncing here, but you have a lot of resistance with the moving average lines. Either it's going to break through, doesn't look like it on the indicators. Indicators turning down there. Actually, it's on the 12-hour. You could get a bounce here, but again, everything's just going sideways. On the 1-day, looks less promising. It needs to break out. But again, you want to anticipate this area to be filled, especially a meme coin. Okay, always expect this area to be filled. If you can set orders down here, if you're all in Pepe, your life savings are in Pepe, then you just want to anticipate that it's going to come down. It's going to come down somewhere to here and then break back up. Always go with that assumption. But I think Pepe is going to be the #1 meme coin of the season. Once this does finish breaking out, I mean, there's a good chance this just continues up. Let's see, 8-hour. I mean, we got a little sideways, and then we're going to have to get some kind of movement going back up. If you look at the previous history, we have some action going down, then we get a breakout. And then we pull back to support, and we accumulate again. Looks like it's dying, and it breaks out. Break down again, accumulate again, breaks out. Maybe third time is a breakdown. Maybe third time is another breakout, and we go to the top of this range for real. I would say, in my opinion, we're going to get a breakout ultimately. Okay, and I'll show you what's happening with Ripple. Looks like we're getting a slight deviation. RSI is coming down as well. We haven't quite broke down yet. If you want to expect a deviation, let the hype break down. 68 cents is a nice level to buy. I like to buy on this little return to this wick, sometimes right before it, 65 cents, and also 59 cents. The best way to figure out where we're going is to use the Fibonacci levels for pullbacks. We're going to flip that. We're going to flip it for bearish move. 618 down. Yep, as I said, 61% pullback. You can expect it, and it almost lines up with this line. I tell you, this is something I found just by my obsessive research. Pullbacks usually come back to this little wick here. All right, and the 618 is right there at 65 cents. So you can kind of expect 65 cents to happen if we get a breakdown from this 382 level and then reaccumulate, and then we'll probably get some more good news. The SEC is officially not going to appeal or some kind of good news like that, and then we get this bull flag breakout. But again, we're going to wait for a confirmation, and we have the 1 hour coming up a little bit. Okay, inverted head and shoulders on the 1 hour on the market cipher, 4 hour equal highs. So it's pretty much like a double top. If we call that a double top, then we could come back. Keep 57 cents in mind. That is ideal for a great retest of these previous levels. Okay, 57 cents is also a great retest level. Keep that in mind as well. Don't get too caught up with over leveraging up here. Okay, and then we have on the market cipher on the daily, we have a red dot and a curl over, and we could have a stair step down effect just like we had here. Had a break up from 44 cents to 54 cents, and then we had another deviation, much like what happened here. And then we started getting red candles. Okay, so you can anticipate somewhere between 70 cents from what I'm seeing and the 618 at 65 cents. That's for XRP. Now, Waves is a special surprise one I want everybody to look into. I saw this little pattern happening here on the 12-hour daily, however you want to see it, with the 200-day lurking, kept breaking out above it. I'm like, oh, okay. We're all waiting for Waves to have a dead cat bounce. That's pretty much what we're waiting for. Go into the 1 week, get a better look. Okay, 0 starts down there. The 1 is up there, major deviation. Okay, flip it back again, flip it, reverse it. Dead cat bounce would be 7 cents. We're still waiting for a dead cat bounce. But like I've said in my videos in my group, Waves only likes to move during major bull markets. Other than that, it just sits there and accumulates forever. Okay, accumulate, no movement. Lots of volume, no movement. Breakout. Okay, so we're going for a sort of a third structure, and in one of my last videos I said it's going to take at least 1,000 days from this breakdown. Okay, let's see what that looks like. I think it was 1,100 days. Okay, so we're talking somewhere right before the halving. So imagine this is the scenario I'm imagining is Bitcoin breaks down after the halving. Waves likes to move after Bitcoin breaks down. It's really that simple. It happened the last time, caught everybody off guard. They're like, what? Waves is a scam. Why is it moving? Everything's moving down. Waves is the only one moving up. Okay, it's a low liquidity token on major exchanges, so that's why we get these moves like this. And they look very similar. Okay, now we expect the same thing to happen. You want to know where it's going next time? I'll give you this little gem. Believe me or not, I did the same thing for Doge. I did the same thing for XRP. I did the same thing for Verge. I did the same thing for mini tokens. Okay, where we're going, this is one way of figuring it out. Somewhere, if we're looking at March, we're talking $90, and it's going to be fast. Okay, or we get a lot of this choppy action on the way up while the market's bullish, and we hit $90 at the peak of the market. Okay, it's not, well, I won't say at the peak of the market. We'll get something similar to this, okay, or we get something similar to this at the peak of the market. These are both peaks of the bull market. Okay, May, June, May, whatever that was. Okay, that's what I'm expecting with Waves. If we zoom in on Waves as well, back to what I was saying, short term, you want to play this token short term. I'm looking for 280. I'm looking for a quick 280, get out, let it pull back, retrace, start it over again. Maybe it'll be a higher high. Okay, maybe we break out to $3.50. Maybe we break out to $6.10. Maybe we break out to $11. I don't think that's going to happen. We're getting higher lows on RSI, higher lows on RSI, higher lows on market cipher. When's the last time that happened? Let's see if we can zoom in. A lot of data. Last time that happened, we broke down. Yeah, so Waves is just a very untechnical token. It's hard. You can't really use these. You can use RSI, but you don't want to use market cipher. Looks useless. All right, maybe we get something like this action here. All right, very similar to what happened here. Boom, higher high, lower low, breakout. Boom, higher high, lower low, breakout, and we continue up. Let's see what our side looks like in that same spot. Look at that same spot. We got this breakout. We got the scoop up, peak. Nice little coloration there on the peak. Scoop, peak, slow stair step down, breakdown under support, one more move up, and then we come back to RSI support. All right, so we can expect something very similar to happen. We're already playing that out right now. We have one peak, two peaks, so we can expect one more peak, one more move up on a lower low, and then we eventually break down under this for a deviation, and then we have a deviation below support, and then we break back up to norm for another move up. So if we anticipate a higher high, we could be going somewhere around $3.50. So maybe that's how I'm going to play it after seeing it play out that way. Okay, so those are the tokens I wanted to look at. Just wanted to share my thoughts, random thoughts. I try to do this at least once a week, beginning of the week, end of the week, end of the trading week, end of the real, Sunday, someday around that time, just to share my thoughts. All right, so that's it. You got any questions? Send me questions below or join the Discord group. Thanks.